Hello and welcome to Kanturk, County Cork. We're here for the 2022 Irish National Road Race Championships. Anya's on holiday and she's left me to hold the fort as we present something of a road special on the cycling show this month. We have a report of the return of Rás Tailteann and we've been speaking to Kanturk's finest, Eddie Dunbar, about his recent continental racing success. We'll have the National Championships coming up later in the show, but first, here's a report from round 4 of the Road National Series in County Mayo. The Road National Series moved west to Con, County Mayo for the 4th and penultimate round, promoted by Conga Cycling Club. After missing round 3 due to international racing commitments, Caoimhe O'Brien was back to defend her narrow series lead, and the Offaly woman was on the attack from flag drop on the first of 4 laps of 27 kilometres. O'Brien was in the early selection of 5 riders, which went clear along with her sister and Torelli Assure Cayman Islands Scimitar teammate Aoife. Nearest series arrival Gabriele Glodinite of UCD, round 3 winner Eve McChrystal from Belergan Wheelers, and North Down CC's Gemma Spears. This quintet worked well for over 50 kilometres before McChrystal applied the pressure on the climbs, bringing Glodinite and Caoimhe O'Brien clear of the other 2. Sustained attacking on the final 27-kilometre lap failed to change the composition of the lead group and paved the way for a cagey, slow wind-up sprint to the finish line. After 3rd place last time out, Glodinite had the strength and the timing to take the win, her first at this level, and a swift return for her new squad, Team UCD.
It was a hard race all the way. There was 5 of us, and then even McChrystal attacked on the hills, and then it came down to 3 of us, and then it was coming down to a sprint, and it was very, very slow coming up there to the final few hundred metres. And yeah, then everyone kind of slowed down, and I was just like, right, this is the time to go, and I just sprinted, and I made it across the line. And yeah, I'm delighted.
So a breakthrough win for Glodinite, with Aoife O'Brien holding off Gemma Spears for 4th, and the UCD squad neatly bookending the top 6, courtesy of Ella Doherty. In the men's race for the inaugural awarding of the Brian O'Loughlin Memorial Cup, points leader Matt Teggart was racing abroad, meaning there would be a new race winner to follow the Ulsterman's hat-trick of wins. A group of 17 riders raced clear in the early stages on the first of 5 laps of the fast undulating circuit on the shores of Lough Corrib. The size and collective strength of the group quickly ensured the race winner was among their number. The leaders increased their advantage over the chase until the final lap, when a group of 9 kicked on. Up front were Paul Kennedy, Shane Smith, Tim O'Regan, Conor Halvey, Ronan Killeen, Joe Luke, Lachlan Campion and Tom Regan from Loughrea's 7 Spring Cycling Club. Into the final bend, Tom Regan kicked on and outlasted the rest of the break to take a surprise and very popular win, pipping Tim O'Regan and Conor Halvey in the process. For race winner Regan, it's the biggest win of his racing life.
Until the last lap, we kind of kicked going over the last bit of a climb. Maybe about 8 of us got away, and kind of it was 8 who came to the line then, so kind of got lucky coming to the line. It opened up nicely for me. Yeah, I was kind of feeling confident enough in the group I had. I kind of knew I had good legs coming to the corner, so I was kind of happy enough to follow the first wheel or 2, and then when the UC guy kicked, I was able to get across in.
So Regan gets the win and moves to 4th in the overall point standings ahead of the final round. Shane Smith got up for 4th place on the day ahead of Ronan Killeen and Paul Kennedy. It's an event that began in 1953 and ran continuously until 2018. After a 3-year hiatus, Rás Tailteann is back, and we went to the final stage in Blackrock, County Louth, to see what this iconic event means to Irish bike racing.
When it comes to the road racing scene in cycling in Ireland, this is the race that inspires all levels of cyclists. It's gets the youth into the sport. It's the race that we look up to when we were younger.
I raced under 14 with Jordan Wheelers. It's just a dream for me, to be honest. I think I'd love to be here in a few years.
It's not just young riders who aspire to Ross glory, it's an event to which riders keep coming back.
We had one guy who was taking part in his 2nd ever edition of the Rás this week, and the last time he rode it, in other words the first time he rode it, was 29 years ago. So he left it 29 years to ride his 2nd one, you know. It's that kind of a unique event. We've had the youngest rider in the race 18, not yet 19, and we've had a few guys over 50.
What makes Rás Tailteann unique is the manner in which it pitches committed amateurs against full-time professionals.
A normal race in Ireland, a competitive race, you would normally be competing with people that you either know or they're within Ireland itself. but the Ross brings in 8 to 10 continental teams, and these are pretty much pro riders. They're looking for big contracts in Europe, and they use the Ross as a stepping stone to try and prove themselves to the bigger cycling world. It is difficult competing with them.
So you had third category riders starting alongside one guy who had participated in the Vuelta a España as a professional, I think in 2012. So where else are you going to get that in a stage race? It just doesn't happen.
For cycling in general, to be able to say you completed the Ross, it's a huge, I suppose, status. Anyone that's a competitive cyclist wants to be able to say, I did the Ross, the man of the Ross, we call it.
The main man of the Ross in 2022 was Dara Feely, recording a first Irish win since 2008 and fulfilling a lifelong dream.
I joined my local cycling club in Roscommon, Dunbar Dynamos, when I was 12 or 13 years of age, and all the talk back then was about the Ross. This man rode the Ross, this man was top 3 in the Ross, and it's a race that I've grown up knowing. I've been going to stages since I was very, very young, and to be here in the yellow jersey, it's a feeling just that I can't describe. I'm lost for words, so I am.
Victories in Setamana, Coppier Bartoli and the Tour of Hungary in recent months have confirmed what everyone in County Cork already knew. Eddie Dunbar is a star. I sat down with Banteer's finest to discuss a career very much on the up.
I kind of always knew I had those victories in me, but it was trying to get them out. And no, this year for sure. I don't know what it was, everything just kind of fell into place, and that win in Coppi came at a very good time, and yeah, I rode a really good race there. I was really happy with that. It's a really well-known Italian race. Every stage was hard, so I think to win that was massive. To kind of back it up then in Hungary with another GC win was really good again. These wins were well overdue, I think, and it was just a massive relief more than anything, you know.
I mean, you're still just 25 years of age. I mean, 4 years of World Tour Pro. I mean, where are you at as a bike rider?
As I always say now, 25 seems old in the peloton now with the young guys coming through. Yeah, look, I still have a lot to learn and I still have a lot to improve on. I think getting to do more week-long World Tour races and doing a Grand Tour, I think that's going to make a real difference to me, because when I did my first Euro back in 2019, after that race I felt a massive difference as a bike rider, my condition, and it does bring you up a level. So I think in terms of getting better as a bike rider, improving on that, and getting stronger, that's the things that are going to make the biggest difference. But I think it's positive at still being 25 years of age that I feel there's still room for improvement, and that I can get better with more racing and yeah, better and bigger races, you know. But I like to come back here and reset and train at home sometimes, because anytime I do train in Ireland, I go really well, and yeah, as I said, it's important just to get home and keep that connection as well, I think, you know.
What have you learned about commanding a team, being the team leader, and you know, taking on the responsibility of going for the overall success in a week-long stage race?
Yeah, I do like the responsibility of it. There is a pressure that comes with it, you know, to be kind of like, no, I have the legs, I can do this, and getting the guys to back you up. As I said, when I've been given the opportunity to lead the team, I've won twice, you know, and it's a responsibility I like, and it's something I think at my age now I just need to do more of to get better at. And sometimes it'll work out and sometimes it won't. That's just the joys of our sport. But it's even growing up, I always felt like it was a position where, like being a leader, it suits me, and I'm willing to take that pressure. And I think sometimes, yeah, maybe some guys don't like the pressure. They like to go like with that relaxed feel. And I think there's a time and place for that. But I think you have to embrace the pressure sometimes, and that's the best way to see how you handle it and get more used to it. And I think I'm at the point in my career where I need that in the next few years and see where I can develop. And I think these next kind of 2 or 3 years, if I get more opportunities to do that, I get a good idea of where I can go in the sport and where I can develop into to be the best I can be.
Well, Eddie is just one of the riders in the field for the Road and Time Trial National Championships. We'll see how he and the rest of the field got on after this short break. Welcome back to Kanturk, where the riders are getting set for the Women's Elite National Road Race Championships. But first, let's get a flavour of the action from the Race of Truth, the Time Trial Championships in Nenagh, County Tipperary. North Tipperary Wheelers had the honour of hosting the National Time Trial Championships in Nenagh, with all riders competing on the same deceptively demanding 32-kilometre course. The women's event produced the most thrilling battle. 2020 champion Eve McChrystal of Belergan Wheelers fended off Olympic sailing medalist Annalise Murphy to secure the bronze medal, her 7th medal in 8 years. Defending champion Joanna Patterson of independent peddler No Pins led at the turn by a single second, and the Ulsterwoman looked on course for a successful title defence. However, 2018 and 19 champion Kelly Murphy roared home for an average of almost 44 kilometres per hour to regain the title by just 1.12 seconds.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an unknown today just because I haven't turned up for nationals for 2 years now, and there's a few girls I haven't raced against, so I wasn't taking anything for granted. It was just a case of literally keeping my head as low as I could and just trucking along, and it paid off for me just today. Oh, it's so nice. Like, my main focus is the track, and then away from that, this is really like what I've attached my ego to, to not beat around the bush. I just, love trucking around in a pursuit position. It's all me. So it's really nice. Like, the level has really gone up, and the knowledge in terms of like aerodynamic gains and coaching and things like that. And it's nice to see girls coming from other arenas, so like triathlon and things like that. So it's nice to come back and be like, yes, I can still do this. Like.
In the men's elite event, Eddie Dunbar of Ineos Grenadiers was 58 seconds down at the turn, and though he reduced his rate of deficit, he still ended the day 1 minute and 32 seconds in arrears. Dunbar was overhauled for the silver medal by just fractions of a second by Antrim rider George Peden, who took his first senior medal. The victory belonged to Ben Healy of EF Education Easy Post, who stormed around the rolling course at just under 50 kilometres per hour to add senior gold to his 2020 under-23 title.
I knew I had good legs from the offset and kind of did a nice positive split, so the course suited that condition and kind of just went hard out and held it on the way back, and it worked out for me today. It is so nice, like you say, after kind of setting the fastest time 2 years ago and not actually getting the jersey, but now to get it is it's kind of a relief, but it's such a good feeling as well. I always like a good TT, and it's going to be a cool thing to get to wear it in the World Tour now.
Darren Rafferty beat Kevin McCambridge to take the under-23 gold, with Adam Ward third. Conal Scully beat Quillan Donnelly by 15 seconds to take junior men's gold, while Shauna Finn was fastest junior woman, 1.8 seconds ahead of Katie Riley. Declan Slevin took the handbike championship from Alistair McSorley and Ray Mernan. Triple Paralympic gold medalist Katie George Dunleavy and pilot Linda Kelly won the tandem event from Damien Veriker and Marcin Mijgajski, with Josephine Helian and Fran Meehan third. William Clifford triumphed in the C-class ahead of Rochelle Timothy and Scott Drummond. It's a proud moment for O'Leary Stone Kanturk Cycling Club as they host the National Road Race Championships on behalf of Cycling Munster. The riders are getting set to go in the Women's Elite Road Race very shortly. Weather conditions a little bit choice, we let them get underway. The Women's Elite Road Race Championship featured a 59-kilometre long loop, bringing the riders back to Kanturk, followed by 3 laps of a challenging 15-kilometre circuit close to the town. Reigning champion Imogen Cotter continues her rehabilitation from injury in Spain, but there were 3 former champions with 5 titles between them on the start line, and Lydia Boylan, Eve McChrystal and Alice Sharp were among a high-quality entry list, including almost all continental-based riders. Danielle Forshaw and Vanessa Furston were among the early attackers before Cork's own Cora McCarthy of Blarney CC raced clear, to be joined by Becky Woods of All Human Velo Revolution and Emma Porter of UCD. That move was neutralised, but Woods went again, and this time the star triathlete tempted Roisin Lally of Loughborough Lightning from the sanctuary of the peloton. This duo were in front, beginning the first lap of the finishing circuit with 45 kilometres to go. Lally dropped back into the clutches of the chasers, and then Woods herself was reabsorbed as the pace and distance began to take its toll. The front of the race split into 2 10-rider groups, with the Illy Bike cycling team dominating. Irish track stars Mia Griffin and Alice Sharp were joined by teammates Fiona Mangan and Megan Armitage from the Belgium-based team, while Caoimhe O'Brien, 3-time champion Lydia Boylan, Eve McChrystal, Linda Kelly, Gemma Spears and the irrepressible Becky Woods fought for the win. Repeated attacks from climbing specialist Armitage were controlled by McChrystal among others, and it was still an 8-rider group together approaching the final kilometre. Up the demanding drag to the finish line, the Illy Bike squad proved strongest and best organised as Sharp reprised her 2019 success, leading teammates Mia Griffin and Fiona Mangan on a clean sweep of the podium. Caoimhe O'Brien fell on the line in finishing 4th, fortunately emerging unscathed from her brush with the tarmac, while Sharp reflected on a 2nd senior title.
I would say I was a bit crazy to leave it to the sprint. I think sprinting isn't like historically what I'd be good at, so it was a bit risky to leave it till then, but all the girls were so strong, and with the climbs being on this side of the course and then flat into the finish, anytime anything was going, it wasn't staying away. So I think in the end we all resided to the fact it was going to be a sprint, and yeah, luckily it was a bit uphill, and that would be my preferred way if I had to sprint. The way this course was, I didn't think that would happen today, so yeah, I screamed really loudly over the line.
So Sharp takes her 2nd national road race title in 4 years. Griffin takes a 1st senior medal in 2nd, with Mangan too mounting a national championship podium for the first time. O'Brien threw everything into her medal bid in 4th, while 2021 medalists Linda Kelly and Megan Armitage rounded out the top 6. The men's junior race over 119 kilometres produced a committed battle, with 3 surviving riders from the early breakaway joined by 5 counter-attackers in the closing stages. After repeated attacking in the final 30 kilometres, Oisín Ferretti from Island Wheelers, Dara Doherty of VC Glendale and Finn McHenry from the Cycling Academy were still out front, and now had Rory Byrne of Pinergy Orwell, Curtis Neal of Carn Wheelers, Patrick O'Loughlin of Panduit Carrick Wheelers and Niall McLaughlin Westport Covey for company as the race headed to the finish line. Despite his earlier exertions, first-year junior Ferretti had enough in hand to take the uphill sprint to the line to hold off Niall McLaughlin and Patrick O'Loughlin.
Oh, yes, and it's sort of been the goal all year to try and get it, so it's nice to finally pull it off.
Dara Doherty, Finn McHenry and Rory Byrne completed the top 6. In the women's race, Erin Grace Crichton from McConvey Cycles joined Aoife O'Brien from Torelli Assure Cayman Islands Scimitar and Shauna Finn from Newcastle West Wheelers out front, and the pre-race favourites had the medals between themselves from the early stages. This trio contested the final sprint after 59 kilometres, with Crichton holding off O'Brien and Finn for victory to make it 2 Ulster wins in the junior road races.
This is my first road national title, so yeah, it feels amazing, and it gives me a lot of confidence going into European Championships. So hopefully they're the next big goal, so hopefully they'll go well too.
Emma Smith of Navan Road Club finished 4th, 12 seconds in front of Ellen Murray of TC Racing, with Aoife Mooney of Navan Road Club 6th. The final event of the Road National Championships is the elite men's road race. With reigning champion Ryan Mullen unavailable, who's going to step up to take the title? It's a long list of contenders. The field for the men's elite road race faced a long day of challenging weather on a course made up of an arduous 103-kilometre loop, followed by 4 local laps of the popular 15-kilometre Kanturk circuit for a total of 163 kilometres. World Tour stars Dunbar and Ben Healy garnered the most attention, and a strong cohort of continental-based professionals also made the journey to northwest Cork to face the best of the local opposition, including new Rás Tailteann champion Dara Feely. Fresh from stage honours in the Ross, Rory Townsend was among the most active riders early on, and the Wiv Sun God rider led a group away before a series of challenging climbs beginning with Black Banks. He was joined by Cormac McGeough of Wildlife Generation, Dean Harvey of Spelman Dublin Port and John Buller from AC Byzantine, as behind Eddie Dunbar began his pitch for glory. The local star raced across the gap and replaced Buller at the front as Healy, Jesse Ewart of Team Bike Aid and Darren Rafferty from Higgins Berman Axion gave chase. Healy drove his group and cut the deficit to just a handful of seconds with 60 kilometres to go, before the gap expanded once more to more than a minute. The Healy chase group redoubled their efforts and slashed the deficit to less than 15 seconds, and it seemed the catch was inevitable. However, Townsend turned the screw once more. Harvey lost his place at the front, and then surprisingly, Dunbar was also dropped, having paid the price for overfeeding and suffered resultant nausea. Up front, Rory Townsend and Cormac Mayo powered away to contest the title, with Townsend, despite his renowned finishing ability, particularly anxious to ensure it didn't come down to a sprint. 2 sharp accelerations on the final lap were enough to unhitch Mayo, and Townsend raced clear to soak up the moment on the finishing straight. The clearly emotional new champion had undeniably been the strongest man on the day, and the magnitude of his achievement was not lost on him. Behind second place Mayo, Healy secured the bronze medal just ahead of Dean Harvey, who recovered well from his exertions in the break to take the under-23 title from 5th place Darren Rafferty, with Jesse Ewart 6th.
I'm lost for words, really. It's dream come true. 15 years, like ever since I started riding, you know. And yeah, it's just amazing. I've got all my family here, and it's just like, yeah, I just can't really believe it. Everything just seemed to go right. I knew I rode the course on Wednesday. I was worried about the climb at Castle Island. So I tried to on all the climbs I tried to just like be ahead of the group, because I knew how dangerous Eddie was on the climbs and stuff, and then thankfully he caught us just towards the top of the Castle Island climb. That was sort of the main bit. I knew once I made it over that I'd be in with a good shot, and then I think Ed just put so much effort in for that climb, and then I think he's just let his legs fell off like on these finishing laps. Couldn't believe it. So yeah, I just said to the other lad that I was with, I was like, come on, let's keep going. There was still 20 odd K at that point, and the group behind was getting bigger with the riders that were going back to it. So yeah, just tried to keep focus. Didn't think about like the win or anything like that. Just tried to think about like what to do next.
It's a first senior medal for Townsend after 4th and 7th place finishes in the past, while California-based Mayo also mounts the Nationals podium for the first time. For Healy, it's a 2nd medal in 3 National Road Race Championships and brings with it welcome UCI points. Bronze medalist Archie Ryan joined Harvey and Rafferty on the under-23 podium. Wow, what a great feast of road racing we've had over the last few days here in Cork and in Tipperary. That's it for this month. We'll have more great bike action in next month's show, but for now, it's goodbye.